right, so good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another broadcast with us here at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. I know we've got a lot of familiar faces in the crowd today, but if you are new to us, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. We do like 40 plus broadcasts every single month featuring the coolest people on planet Earth. So check us out. Everything we do goes to our YouTube channel as well. So if you missed this program, or if you want to share it with family or friends in 3 weeks or 3 years, you can go right there and do just that. Now, today I am particularly excited because we are continuing with a long-standing series over the last few years with our amazing friends at the Rito Hall Foundation, specifically their Ingenious Plus campaign program, all this good stuff. We've been sharing this with a lot of you teachers individually over the last few weeks and months. I hope you've had the chance to check out the website, but I'm going to start us off with a little video to explain a little about what Ingenious Plus is all about, and then I'm going to bring in our friend Jill from the Rito Hall Foundation to explain more before we bring in our special guest. It's a very large rotating cast of characters today. Try and keep track of us all. I won't be involved too much. You don't have to worry about me. Let's start off that video and get underway. Thank you all so much for being here. Let us know where you are in the chat on YouTube too. And let's dive in with us.
I want to see myself a part of the solutions instead of sitting back waiting for other people to get there.
Very cool and very slick, but I'm going to bring in Jill to explain a little bit more and dive in more on what Ingenious Plus is all about before we welcome in our guest today. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining us again, Jill, and tell us more.
Oh, thank you so much, Jesse. I like to think that I'm very cool and very slick myself. I am Jill Clark with the Rito Hall Foundation, and we are so proud to be bringing you the third year of the Ingenious Plus Youth Innovation Challenge. So if you are someone who is passionate about generating solutions to community, Canadian, and global challenges, Ingenious Plus gives youth in Canada aged 14 to 18 the opportunity to innovate for good. Now, we hear this word tossed around a lot. So what exactly is innovation? Innovation to us is simply about doing something better to make an impact. So this includes improving upon a product, a service, a process, or creating something completely new that solves a problem and just makes the world a better place. So as we saw in the video, there are 5 categories that you can tackle to make the world better through innovation. We have community and civic engagement, climate change and the environment, equity and inclusion, health and well-being, and technology and entrepreneurship. So you can see there are no shortage of ways to innovate and no limits to the problems that we can solve. So often we can think that innovation is very technical, scientific, mathematical, and yes, it's true, it can be. But innovation is also social, community-minded, entrepreneurial, health-focused, and especially compassionate. So you don't have to be a genius in engineering, you just have to want to improve the world around you. And there's no need to go it alone. Our innovators all stress the importance of teamwork and collaboration. So grab some friends, put your heads together, and challenge each other to do something great. This award invites you to present your innovation projects and ideas. And this is your chance to showcase your innovation in an exceptional network of Canada's most successful innovators, some of whom are with us today. You'll have the chance to win an entry into this network and also the chance to receive up to $10,000. Not bad. So submissions are open as of today and close February 22nd of 2024. So the time to start is now. All the information you need to apply and receive up to $10,000 are on our website at ingeniusplus.ca. So check us out. And the next great Canadian innovator could be you. So without further ado, let's invite our guest speakers to join us and share their innovation stories with us today. So I am very, very pleased to welcome Elijah Cosby. Elijah is our 2023 Ingenious Plus Entrepreneurship and Technology winner. His project, U-VAD, is a wearable object detection assistive device for individuals with severe sight loss that uses ultrasonic sensors to detect obstacles in the user's path. It utilizes ultrasonic sensors to detect objects, by giving auditory messages through headphones and earbuds to help build confidence and bring comfort to its users when navigating unfamiliar areas. I love this project, and Elijah has been such an incredible example of what it means to be a young innovator. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Elijah.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Hi, Jill.
Hi. This is so great that you're here. We had such a wonderful time celebrating you and recognizing your work at our Ingenious Plus ceremony last year. Can you tell us a little bit more about U-VAD? Tell us a little bit more about the story and where you are now.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so it all sort of started when I wanted to create, while I was in high school, I wanted to start some sort of project. I wanted to have a passion project that would address some problem. And then a friend of mine in high school, his grandfather was blind and he lived with them. And I was talking to my friend about it, and my friend just said that he doesn't like to leave his house, that he's like almost scared to go explore these new places because he doesn't have vision to rely on. It can be scary navigating unfamiliar territories. So I wanted to address that. And now I did lots of research looking at like ways to how to approach helping that. And any of the current devices that are available are incredibly expensive and outside of most people's budgets. So I wanted to create something that was affordable. So I just did some research online. I looked into different types of sensors, of like different ways of detecting that there were objects, people, like things around a person. And I landed on ultrasonic sensors because they were like very cost effective. So, and yeah, from there, I just like worked on the project. I had an amazing mentor who helped me along the way. And yeah, I just found a problem that I felt like, wow, this really shouldn't be the case. Like this person should have a better way of doing it. And then I just dove into how we can address that problem.
That's so great. I love the idea of diving in without really having all of the answers yet.
You don't
have
need all the answers.
Yeah, that's so great. So now that you've been involved with Ingenious Plus, can you tell us a little bit about how that has maybe changed the trajectory of your project?
Yeah, of course. That was one of the big benefits of Ingenious Plus. Not only were all of the incredible parts advertised, but also just that it adds legitimacy to your project and to you as an innovator. So now I'm in my first year at McMaster University for biomedical engineering, and they have this biomedical innovation clinic here. And I'm guarantee it's because of the Ingenious Plus like award that I then got into this program that they have. And now I'm working alongside with like professors and PhD students as almost my peers, and it feels so surreal. and now it's this like accelerator program to help now even more so with the business side of my project. So now I'm starting to like I'm continuing along, furthering the prototype, making the product better, but now I'm also doing market research and looking into how this can best get into the hands of more people. So yeah.
That's so great. And it's so important to be reminded that there are two sides. There's kind of the technology side, but there's also the business side as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a balancing act of, making sure that technology is there, but also, as you say, making sure that it can get out into the world in the right way. That's so great. So I think it's safe to say that the Ingenious Plus challenge is definitely something that's maybe opened some doors for you and helped you get a little bit further.
Yes, 100%. I think that like after that happened, it just takes your project from like to the next level, because like I sort of said before, just it even just adds credibility to what you're doing. That now when you approach like when you need to speak with people in the field to learn more or to do market research about like to test your products, it's you have like this award, which is incredible, like to help you along the way talking to these people. So it definitely is incredible.
That's a great endorsement. Thank you, Elijah.
Yeah.
I want to take you back to this award ceremony that we had last year. We had the Ingenious Plus ceremony where we recognized all of our Ingenious Plus winners. And then in the same evening, we went right through to the Governor General's Innovation Awards, which is also stewarded by the Rideau Hall Foundation. And all of our Ingenious Plus winners were invited to attend this incredible event with Canadian innovators who are at a very advanced level. They've got many, many years under their belt of innovating, and they are being recognized on a national level for their contributions to innovation in Canada. And I remember going around the room with you, introducing you to folks, and these are people who are used to hearing innovation ideas all the time, who are constantly being pitched on the next great big idea. And I was so impressed to watch you speak so confidently about your project. And I also saw that you were kind of getting feedback in real time from some of these very accomplished, very impressive people. How does it feel to be involved in this type of network where you really are playing in an arena with some of Canada's most impressive innovators?
Honestly, it felt surreal. It was hard to believe that, like, first of all, that it was called a gala, and I was like, wow, get to attend a gala. That was really great. But yeah, then just meeting and getting involved like with all of these and networking with these incredible innovators was incredible. And the fact that like discussing stuff with them, getting feedback, and then having them even sometimes like want to help me out more, and then giving me their contact information that I've conversed with some of the people that I've met that night, like after the fact. And it's honestly been incredible opening that network and having access to all of those incredible people.
That's great. And you really held your own. I know that it can be a really intimidating experience to be at a gala, as you say, but we were all so impressed with the way that you really showed confidence and you held your head high in that room. And I think that's a really important part of networking too, knowing that you belong in those rooms and you belong in those spaces, and following up, I think is really important. So great job. So if you were speaking to Elijah maybe 2 or 3 years ago, or someone else who's maybe on the brink of having an idea that's hatching into something more, being where you are now, what kind of advice can you give to somebody who's maybe 2 or 3 years behind you on their innovation journey?
Just take the first steps. Honestly, that would be the biggest advice. All throughout like high school and even elementary school, I would love coming up with ideas. I'd keep a list in my phone of anytime I had an idea that I thought might be worth pursuing, I'd write it down, because I really did want to help make a change. But the thing is that until this project, I never took that next step. I never started. And then I realized that like the incredible things that can happen, like this award, that just started from me saying, okay, let's start this project and see what happens, see where it takes me. And it turned into this very fulfilling, rewarding experience. And now I'm excited to be getting my product out there and hopefully helping people soon.
So yeah, as you say, you don't have to have all the answers right away. You just have to take that first step.
Definitely.
That's great advice. Elijah, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're a very, very busy student, so we really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see what you do next and what kind of great ideas that you're keeping in your phone come to life. So please keep innovating, and please let us know, all of the great things that you're doing. And we wish you all the very best. Thanks, Elijah.
Thank you so much.
Bye. That was so great. We love Elijah here at Ingenious Plus, and we just find him to be such an inspiring young man and are so excited for all of his success. So on to the next. We are going to speak today with David Brown. David Brown is a biotechnology entrepreneur and a passionate advocate for youth entrepreneurship in Canada's biotechnology sector. David serves as the co-founder and COO of Chinova Bioworks and is the founder of Mycodev Group. In 2013, he and his team from the University of Alberta won MIT's iGEM competition with an innovation for a genetically engineered acid pathway in bacteria. I don't know what that means, but hopefully he'll tell us a little bit more about that. Mr. Brown then founded the Mycodev Group, a biotechnology company that produces life-saving pharmaceutical ingredients used in liquid biopsy and medical therapeutics. He received his first patent and several innovation awards for the group's work, as well as for his efforts in developing biopolymer-based antimicrobials. I'm amazed I even got through that sentence. David, thank you so much for being here with us. We are so excited to hear more and to learn more about Chinova, about Mycodev, and about you. So take it away, David. We're all ears.
Thanks so much, Jill. And thank you so much for having me here at as part of Ingenious Plus. It's really an honor, and I hope I can, follow up after Elijah and Elijah's incredible journey so far. But I'll tell you quickly just about myself. I'm David Brown. I'm the co-founder and I'm the chief operating officer at Chinova Bioworks. I'm speaking to you today from our offices in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. Over the last 6 years since we started the business, we've been working on making better ingredients for the food and beverage industry. I, like most people, really enjoy food. I eat food every day. You probably do too, hopefully. And I have this deep love of food, but there are a lot of problems in the food industry, in the food system. And I think one of the biggest problems is that 1/3 of all food we make goes to waste. You can imagine, how big of a problem this is. For example, if you've ever baked bread, think about all of the time and the energy and the ingredients that go into making a loaf of bread. You need the flour, yeast, water, oil, sugar. You've got to turn on the oven, heat up the oven. That's a lot of energy just to make one loaf of bread. And so just imagine if 1/3 of that loaf is going to be thrown out. And what's happening here is, the main culprit of this waste is that the food is spoiling before we have a chance to eat it. 1/3 of the food we produce is lost due to spoilage, and a lot of that spoilage comes down to microbial growth. So I'm talking about yeast growth, bacteria growth, or mold growth. I'm sure we've all seen moldy bread, mold growing on yogurt, things like that. So it's just an incredible amount of food waste that, if there was a way to prevent this, would represent huge benefit to the world in terms of sustainability and food security. So we started thinking about how can we stop this 1/3 of the food we produce from being thrown away needlessly. If we could extend the shelf life of these food and beverages so that it lasts longer, tastes good, tastes nice and fresh, we could actually be able to eat it before it goes bad and before it spoils. At the same time, we need to do this in a way that keeps the food healthy for people eating it. It's got to taste good. It's got to look good. It's just got to be delicious, healthy food at the end of the day. So we looked around at natural sources for an ingredient that could prevent the spoilage of food. And what we found was that there's a fiber in white button mushrooms. The humble white button mushroom that you get at the grocery store has this fiber that is very, very good at preventing the growth of spoilage-causing yeast, mold, and bacteria. And then another interesting we found is that when white button mushrooms are grown by farmers, the farmers will chop the mushroom off, almost like when you're chopping down a tree, and there's a little stump that's left in the soil. And the fiber that we're talking about, that we're isolating as an ingredient, is in that stump, as well as the rest of the mushroom. So we thought, well, what a great way then to have the feedstock or the source for this fiber in a way that's even more sustainable, because we're making use of a waste material from the mushroom farmers, and we're not taking away from the edible part of the mushroom that you would buy at the grocery store or eat at restaurants. So we got to work at figuring out how to extract this fiber from the white button mushrooms, how to do it in a sustainable way that uses the least amount of water, the least amount of energy possible. We built our own facility to take these stumps from the white button mushroom farmers, extract out this fiber, and figure out how to use this as a healthy food ingredient for all types of things. And here's an example of how it works. This is a picture of cream cheese. And you can see on the left here, this is a control that does not have the mushroom fiber. This is after 30 days. It's just, covered in mold. There's a couple of different species of mold here. You can see this beautiful kind of greenish blue one. That's your penicillium mold. And then here on the right side is cream cheese with our mushroom fiber ingredient in it that went to 105-day shelf life. So a big improvement in shelf life. And this hopefully leads this, in this example, this cream cheese being able to be consumed by someone instead of thrown into landfill and wasted. And here's a little picture of our team. Since we started the company 6 years ago, we've grown to about 35 people now. 35 people who, with me on a daily basis, are working to try and make benefit to the world through improving the sustainability of the food industry and doing it in a way that's healthy and good for consumers at the same time. That's my slides. Thank you.
Awesome, David. That's so great. I love how you describe mold as very beautiful. I think that shows it really shows a very deep passion for the work. And and when I looked at it, I thought, yeah, it is kind of beautiful. It's a very good perspective to have. I would love to. I mean, we just heard from Elijah, who incredible and kind of more towards the beginning of his innovation journey. Did you relate it all to, when he was talking about not having all of the answers quite yet, but just making that first step? Is that something you've experienced in the work that you've done?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed hearing him speak and listening to his answers, because I really resonate with what he said about you don't need the answers. When myself and my co-founder started this business 6 years ago, I look back now and it's amazing how little we knew. We didn't know anything about the food industry, really. We didn't know about this fiber from mushrooms. All we knew is that we thought there would be a better way to do this to make the food industry better. So set off with that idea. And over the last 6 years of doing this, we've learned everything along the way, and we've worked with some really great, smart people who have helped us and given us advice. So you really don't need to know that much. You have to have enthusiasm and being willing to learn. That's, I think, the biggest thing. You don't need to know everything at the beginning. You just need to be open-minded and willing to learn new things as you take that journey.
That's awesome. I'd like to say, too, we have a couple of classrooms that are joining us virtually today. If anybody would like to ask David a question, please feel free to come to the camera, write us a little message in the private chat. I know David would love your questions if you have any. For the Ingenious Plus Challenge, we have a very strong emphasis on networking and mentorship. Can you talk a little bit about maybe some mentorship experience that you've had during your journey and how that's helped you or changed the way that you've approached your work?
Yeah. Mentors can be so important. And, there's so many people out there who I think maybe are older, retired from their jobs and looking to give back to the community, and just a wealth of knowledge. We've been very fortunate to have a couple of great mentors from the food industry who have been there and done that. And part of what you were talking about, do you need to know a lot when you start? You don't need to know a lot, and you can really lean on great mentors who have done similar things, or maybe done exactly what you're doing now, or what you're trying to do. So I would say find a great mentor, somebody who has experience in the area that you're working in, whether it's biology, chemistry, engineering, art, social sciences, doesn't matter. There's people out there who have done similar things that could help you with some free advice, and free advice is great.
Jill and David, sorry to pop in out of the blue, out of nowhere. I just wanted to know, we've got some students in our George Webster class that are right on the camera, so I might bring them in live. And then our 5-6 is our other crew. You guys are sharing in the chat, which is awesome if your devices are off. So Jill, what I'll do is I'll take a couple questions from our George Webster crew, and then you can take the questions from the chat, and then I'll just disappear again. But George Webster, if you guys want to come on in and ask away, welcome in, grade 6s. Hi.
Hi, George Webster.
Hello. So my question is that what do you use to extract the fibers out of the white mushrooms?
Great question. Yeah. Well, it's a lengthy process. It goes through a couple of steps. Basically, we'll start with the mushroom. Actually, not this part of the mushroom like I was talking about. We use the stump that's usually under here. We'll take those stumps, we'll dry them first, and then we'll mill them to a fine powder. So it ends up looking just like a white powder, almost like sugar in a way. And then we'll take that powdered mushroom and we'll put it into a mixture of vinegar, hot water, and then we use, it's called sodium hydroxide, which is used in soap. It's the same kind of thing you'd see in like a bar of soap. And then we put that through a couple of different cycles just to isolate the pure fiber, because there's other things in the mushroom that we're not looking to isolate. Like there's protein in mushroom, there's other carbohydrates, there's minerals, all types of other things. But we specifically just want that fiber. So we developed this process to isolate the fiber through different rounds of using the vinegar, the water, and the sodium hydroxide. It's more complicated than that, but that's kind of the high level process of it. But yeah, it's a great question.
Spectacular. Well, we're going to take one more from that crew, and then Jill's going to pop in and take the gazillion from our 5-6s as well. You guys are a very energetic audience, and I love it. George Webster, come on in, folks, and take us away with the second one.
Hello.
Hi.
What resources do you guys or tools do you guys use for the process?
Great question.
Great question. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good question. We use these large stainless steel tanks. It's just, I'm trying to think of what size it is. It holds about 500 gallons of liquid. So we'll take all the mushroom powder, we'll put it in this giant tank, and it's got an agitator that mixes the powder and the water and the vinegar and the sodium hydroxide together. And it's a really cool tank. It's got heating, and it's got timers, so you can set it, if it needs to go for a certain amount of time, it can do that. So yeah, it looks just almost like a giant spaceship. It's got these legs, and it's just a giant stainless steel vat.
Okay, I didn't realize we would be getting these technical level questions, David. I hope you're ready. I was going to ask questions this difficult, but clearly we've got some very keen mushroom experts who want to know lots more about the work that you're doing. So I've got a bunch of questions from Miss Barkin's class that we're going to do kind of like a lightning round with, because they just have so many great questions as well. So the first question is the mushroom fiber being used in products publicly yet?
Yeah, great question. It is, yes. Yeah, we've got, we work with food and beverage companies here in Canada, the United States, Mexico. So you can find this mushroom fiber in products like yogurt, cream cheese, all types of different beverages like fruit juice, sodas, things like that. But yes, I'm happy to say that it is being used today. And And when it's being used, it's usually replacing chemical preservatives that people really don't like and are not the best for people's health. So it's making these products a lot healthier. And then in other cases, like in that photo of the cream cheese I shared, it's just really extending the shelf life. So it's really helping reduce food waste.
Awesome. Okay, next question. Does the mushroom fiber have a taste? Would we be able to know that it's in there?
Cool question. Very smart question. The fiber itself does have a taste. I've eaten spoonfuls of the fiber. And to be honest, when you eat it in spoonfuls, it doesn't taste that great. It's got kind of a bitter taste. Like a lot of fibers in the pure form, they do have a little bit of a bitter taste. It leaves your mouth feeling a little bit dry. So if you're eating spoonfuls of it, it's not great. But we use such a tiny, tiny amount in these different food and beverages that it ends up having no taste at all. Really like no change to all of the sodas, the yogurts, or things like that. A lot of people think, oh, it must have kind of a mushroom flavor, and you can't put mushrooms in orange juice. It's going to really change the orange juice flavor. But it's used at such a tiny amount that it really doesn't have any taste at all.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So it's kind of like a ghost, sort of like a mysterious ingredient that you wouldn't know is there unless you knew it was there.
Yeah. You can see it on the label of the products, but otherwise you don't taste it, which is really important because we're trying to extend the shelf life of the foods, make it healthier for consumers. But if it ruins the taste, nobody's going to want to buy it. So that's a really important thing for our customers, is that it does not change the taste. It has no mushroom flavor.
Good to know. So a little bit more about the mushrooms. Ms. Barkin's class wants to know. So can you, like, is there a large amount of this type of mushroom? And is there any other kind of mushroom that we could use for this same technique, or is it specific?
Oh, wow. That is another great question. I love these questions. They're very well thought out. This fiber actually is in every type of mushroom that exists. So not just the white button mushrooms, but shiitake mushrooms, turkey tail mushrooms, any kind of mushroom you can think of has this fiber. We decided to work with just white button mushrooms because they're the most available. They're the most commonly grown species of mushroom in North America, US, Canada, and Mexico. We eat a lot of these mushrooms in Canada and the United States and Mexico. So they're just the most available, which is why we chose these mushrooms as our source for the fiber.
David, just to give you that rotating cast of characters we promised, I'm back. I'm going to head to our George Webster crew live. If you guys want to come on in and ask that question, it's better to say it on camera than in the chat. More fun this way. So share away. I'd love this question. Hi, grade sixes.
Hello. My name's Quentin, and my question is, what inspired you to do this?
The best question.
Thank you, Quentin. What inspired me to do this? It was I had a background in biology. And like I said, I really like food. Food is such a fun thing to work with. Everybody loves food, I think, or I hope they do anyway. And then started to realize like there are some big challenges in the food industry today. We've got a growing population. There are a lot of people in the world who don't have enough food. And then at the same time, we produce a lot of food, but 1/3 of that food we produce goes to waste. So it's a really big challenge, but I think there's a lot of great opportunities to make it better and make the world a better place by doing these types of things. I don't think that our company is going to solve the entire problem with the food industry, but I think a lot of people doing similar things will start to come together and have a really big impact on changing the problem that we're in for food. So that was part of it.
It's a fantastic answer. We had a program just before this, or I had a program just before this with two of the world's leading climate scientists. And one of the kids asked, what can we do to fight climate change? And I think for most kids or most people in the world, it's choices about what they eat and preventing the waste of their food. I mean, there's many other benefits to have that, but I mean, this is the essence of the work that you do. And I think if you go home today, kids, and you take from this a message that, wow, we do waste a lot of food, or you think about what gets thrown out, or you think about how you shop and what you eat as well, it's profound how much of an impact that has. So consider that, all this other amazing research and science and entrepreneurship that we've had the chance to hear with David and Elijah today, and you'll make a real positive good. I'm going to stop talking because we got so many more. There's kids literally lining up in the classes, which is the best problem to have in the world. So we're going to take a couple more from our George Webster crew, and then Jill and I are going to come back on together with you, David, to wrap up from there. But Webster, come on back in and take us away. Hey, guys.
So my question is, what's an achievement you made that inspired you even more to go further?
Oh, okay. Yes. There's been a lot of little things, and I think we as innovators and entrepreneurs, you need to learn to really celebrate even little accomplishments. I was very fortunate to win the Governor General's Innovation Award back in 2017, and that really I guess inspired me to continue on and to keep working. But just little things along the way, like forming our first partnership with a mushroom farmer, which is kind of a big thing. At the time, it was a really big thing. Now it's a smaller thing, but just all of these little achievements along the way, signing an agreement with a mushroom farmer to take the stems that we can use for our extraction, completing the first test, like that picture I showed you of the cream cheese, getting those first results and having positive results. There's been a lot of, what I didn't talk about or didn't show you was that it took many trials to get there, though. It's, you've got to try 100 times before you'll find something that works. So I think just celebrating those little achievements along the way really keep you going and keep you inspired.
Answer. Thanks, David. We're going to head back to George Webster for one final question. I know there's like a gazillion of you, but time flies and you're having fun, and we gotta wrap up the broadcast somewhere. Otherwise, we just won't sleep at all. So George Webster, come on in, take us away with one final one. And I promise, if you do have more questions, email us at exploring by the seat of your pants. We'll try and get those answers from David, from the Ingenious crew. Anything you want to know. We got limited time left, but come on in, take us away.
I wanted to ask if you, how do you put the fiber inside the food? Do you just bake it while putting it in, or do you just put it on top?
Oh, great question. Yes, this is a question I get a lot from our clients, actually, because they ask that same thing. How do you use this in the food? Most of the time, it just gets mixed in like, so if you've ever baked bread before, you know how you make the dough. You're taking flour, mixing it with water and some other ingredients like yeast and maybe some sugar, salt, things like that. That's where you would add this mushroom fiber. You would make sure it's really mixed in well, and then you take that dough and put it in the oven to bake it. So that's generally the process. Same with if you were making fruit juice. You take the fruits, you press them to get the juice out. Once you've got all the juice, then you would add in the fiber, mix that up, and then that's how you use it.
Voila. I love that your mind went to baking. The fact that any grade 6 kid is thinking about baking is wicked. So keep at it. It's awesome. Classes, this has been spectacular. Thank you for your interest, your really keen questions, ridiculously detailed questions. Really appreciate all of you. Elijah, thank you, man. You actually hung out with us in the background, so I will bring you in when we do our big goodbye in a minute. But I'm going to bring Jill back in too. I'll bring you all in. I'll bring Elijah back in too. Thank you, everyone, for such a spectacular program. Elijah, David, your expertise and interest and passion for sharing this and for this work is palpable. Our kids fed off it. As I said at the beginning, we've got kids in Pennsylvania, Alberta, Ontario, Wisconsin, and more all over North America. So a big thank you for everything. Jill, is there any last message on the Ingenious front just to wrap this amazing program up?
I mean, I'm kind of just like craving cream cheese and mushrooms right now. I don't know why. I don't know how that's happening. Yes. But no, thank you so much. This is like such a great example of innovators, both Elijah and David, at different parts in their journey, sharing a lot of the same thoughts about the importance of just diving right in, the importance of using mentorship and networking as a way to propel you forward and to just find a problem that makes you want to help, that makes you want to do something. So really great examples of what innovation is all about. So please, if you are one of these people who has one of these ideas, go to ingeniousplus.ca, send us your innovation ideas, and the next great Canadian innovator really could be you.
Nice.
Thanks, Jesse. Thanks, David. Thank
you, guys.
Our whole crew, we're going to bring in our George Webster crew to say a big thank you and farewell as well. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day, grade 6. How do you really feel, though?